Call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Approval of minutes. Sally had sent them out to us ahead of time.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Pelton to approve the previous meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We also have the special meeting of June 10th. Look for a motion for approval of those.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes as presented.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, second by Commissioner Olson to approve the June 10th special meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, approval of agenda. L, anything?
I have a couple. I had the McKinsey update and Edward H. Schwartz concerns on a grading project. Edward H. Schwartz on concerns on a grading project that they're doing for the county.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, Southwest Water again. They've sent a revised copy of their agreement.
Craig?
Just the Dickinson Library sent me an email. Second.
Bob? And I have nothing. With that, look for approval of the agenda as amended. Motion by Commissioner Kleeman.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Olson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Great. We'll start with the road department. Carl, good morning.
Morning, Carl.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Just fairly brief update for you guys this week. The 100th Avenue Northwest construction project final inspection was done on June 4th. The project has been accepted. The only remaining work to be done is the permanent fencing, which is outside of the contractor's contract, which that'll be installed after the seating is established. So we'll keep an eye on that. And it may be closer to the fall before that gets done, but as soon as we think we can do it, we'll have the fencing contractor out there and get that done and the temporary removed. I do have a pay estimate for Bronco Brothers. It is the final estimate, so that includes all the remaining work plus the retainage. And I would recommend that in the amount of $58,288.26.
Chair, make a motion to pay the pay estimate of $58,288.26 to Bronco Brothers.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Heiser, second by Commissioner Pelton to pay the pay estimate. Is that the final?
It is
Yes,
the final estimate,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? Not, roll call.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman? Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes. Motion carries.
Then on design work, 92nd Avenue and 12th Street, we do have the 4-4 permits for those projects. We're working through easements on those. I do anticipate bid openings yet this year here fairly soon. We're just working through some final easements and I'm trying to identify bid opening dates for those as we progress with those easements. 16th Street, not a whole lot's going on there right now. 20th Street, preliminary design is complete. We are trying to push this final design on that one as the cultural report looks pretty favorable on it. 86th and 9th and 98th Avenue. We have completed the preliminary designs on those. We are doing internal reviews of those right now and are putting together the environmental and cultural impacts for those so we can get the permits process going and working on plan sheet development for those. The 2026 projects, we're working on field surveys just about wrapped up on that 79th Avenue. The environmental and cultural surveys have been completed for those, but we have not yet received the reports from our subconsultant. Anticipate starting our design work on those this summer. I guess we're kind of already into summer, but fairly soon. And then that 14th Street project, I should be submitting a contract for that here soon, and should begin work on that surveying here in the next month or so. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks.
Morning, Darren.
Have some updates for you as well. We'll start with 14th Street. So this is the Schwartz project, and I'm assuming that this is the project that Commissioner Heiser had brought up that we're having some issues on with grading. They've been slowed by some recent rains. They're continue to make progress. They do have the large box culvert as installed. Material still is going to be placed there and raise the center line of that. If you recall, at the last commission meeting, we did have some corrections that we're making on some pipe sizes and whatnot. That's contributed to the delays with Schwartz's construction. On Monday, Superintendent Schwarzenberger, Commissioner Pelton, representatives from our office, as well as Joel from Schwartz, were out there. Commissioner Heiser, I know you were invited, and I understand that there's a tragedy. Sorry you couldn't attend, but it looks like we do have a way forward to correct this stuff. Looked at a general review of the project as well, and things are progressing. We're adding some extensions onto the 60-inch pipe. If you recall last meeting that we did have to drop some pipe that were staked incorrectly. Well, it turns out that the inverts on the old pipe that we thought, but after you got rid of the scouring and the muck at the bottom of the channel, that 1 foot ended up being dropped to 3 feet, which caused us to add some pipe to those 60-inch pipe. So typically, what we're doing as an effort, just kind of a goodwill effort, is we're paying for those extensions on the pipe. Normally, that would be a part of the project, but to try to go out of our way and show that we are regretful on what happened, we are paying that $13,000 out of our own pocket just to try to make good. I did have a call from Commissioner Heiser on Friday. I know he was frustrated. I think there's a lot of frustration on this process, on this whole project, and it's warranted. It's probably not our best project. I guess you have to look at our body of work that we've had for the past decade, over 20 projects, and we have not had issues like this. I know in engineering, you're kind of as good as your last project, so I get the frustration. Again, the only thing that we can do is man up and try to fix this stuff and get a good project. I did have a call from one of the property owners out there here this morning. They're requesting some additional changes and some grading changes, and they've done this in the past too, and we're trying to accommodate them and make them happy. We're working on that too with them. See where I'm at. All that being said, and we can open it up for discussion, we do have a pay request for Schwartz in the amount of $467,91.92 for Schwartz Construction. We're recommending approval.
Madam Chairman, I move that we pay estimate number 2 on 14th Street in the amount of $467,091.92 to Schwartz Construction.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Heiser to pay estimate number 2 to Schwartz Construction. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes, the motion carries.
Any further discussion on 14th?
Well, when I put it at agenda, we're gonna deal with it right away here. So I got this email last evening from Schwartz Construction, really frustrated with some of the issues, and I don't know how we're gonna fix the issue at the highway.
Sure.
With the pipe, and with that being laid too high. That was an issue. We put approach pipes on top of hills. That could have been fixed by some easy grading, so apparently that's gonna have to be removed. The The 60-inch pipe is really frustrating because contractor in the field told your guy in the field that it was too high, lay it anyway. So now they relayed it, told them it's going to be too short, put the end sections on. So there's so many things. And what really frustrates me is that it was brought to your attention and it was not fixed correctly. Another item is extra dirt that we have to waste now. So I don't quite get, why can't a guy self-balance the project? I mean, we don't have to have a straight grade profile from one end of the project to the other. So what? There's a few people, let's have a few hills and curves. So now we're talking almost 18,000 yards of dirt. We have to have a home for it. Why couldn't that have stayed somewhere on the project and not move it and pay to move it? Now we might have to pay somebody to waste it. I just find this totally unacceptable and frustrating. I've worked road projects all my life, and this small grading project, I've never seen so many errors on it. So I'm just it's my frustrations, but also by all these mistakes, the contractor's got other obligations and they have plans. The pipe crew should have been gone off this project, onto James's project, laying his pipe. They're delayed. So now not only this project's probably going to run into LDs, James's project will probably enter LDs this fall. So, I mean, it gets to be a ripple effect. And like I said, I know they're going to, they emailed me last night, a time extension. I think this time extension is warranted. It's not there. Then I know the project was bid last fall, and I know the conversation was brought. Does it need to be done last fall? It was bid late, so there's lots of things here that, so I know that if we've officially got a change order to time extension is one thing, but like I said, it's a ripple effect, and a contractor's bid these jobs tight. We got good bids to keep moving down the line. So hopefully this doesn't create a problem with James's project by not getting, but not having the pipe and the scrapers come, the scrapers got to have places to go. You know, time is money in their project. So like I said, I'm just really frustrated here. So that's all I got to say.
Commissioner Heiser, your frustration is warranted. Again, I'm frustrated as well. And not only that, I'm disappointed. Again, as I said, you're only as good as your last project. You haven't been around to see what our track record's been like, so I can only imagine what it's like for you. I think what Schwartz is talking about when they're asking for a time extension, I think that it's valid. We're still trying to kind of wrap our heads around it, and maybe we can have a meeting that we can sit down and hammer some of this stuff out. I know in the past, the county has been pretty lenient on liquidated damages when it's come to contractors, including Schwartz. I know we had a project last year where I believe the project wasn't started until a year after what the completion date was as well. I'm not sure how it's impacting the rest of the citizens out there. It's not how it was supposed to be. Whether we want to have these conversations in private or if we'd like to have them now, I mean, we can do that too, but frustration is warranted and we have to own it. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, we went from 5,500 yards of waste to 18,000. That's a lot. I just somehow
agree.
think we should design it in the project.
Correct. And so again, when we originally did our waste and we had an extra waste, we did that based on our 79th project where we had the same amount of waste and we're extremely short on dirt due to rock and due to the nature of the soils or what the soils are going to do as far as compacting and shrinking or swelling. The soil is behaving completely different out there. There's ways to, instead of waste it and pay somebody to take it, we can adjust road profile grades, which is what we're looking at right now to burn up some of that dirt. As far as I know, Commissioner Heiser, you had asked about, why is everything flat instead of having some hills? The previous administration kind of scolded us before when we just did, the basic minimum and corrected the sight distance on the hills. They wanted the flat roads. That's what they came back and requested and they wanted us to do. And so that's why they were handled that way. Again, I'm not just kind of trying to explain and keep everything in perspective here. I know there are, number one, I can't disagree with Commissioner Heiser's point of view that the errors are excessive on this project. Keeping things in perspective, there are errors that are involved in construction. That does not say that what we did is correct and not making excuses, but we're building several projects right now for the DOT. from different consultants that have designed, and none of those consultants are in this room, just so we set the record straight. We're dealing with similar issues. That does not give us a green light. I'm not saying that takes away from our issues. We're dealing with errors in hydrology, errors in pipelines, errors in pipe sizes. It's kind of part of the industry, but this is excessive. That's just what I want to say. And we
So-
apologize.
Aaron, when is
Yes.
when is the project to be done, the date?
So
I
the-
mean, are we even
yeah,
close to those?
Madam Chairman, so, go ahead. So the completion date on this project was actually, I believe, June 25th. Project was bid last year in September and awarded, the contracts were signed, I believe, in October, with the understanding that a lot of the work was going to be completed last year. Now, if you guys remember, there was an unfortunate tragedy with Schwartz that happened where I believe somebody passed on the project that limited their ability to get out there. It's terrible, and I understand that too, but the intent with the previous administration was that a majority of this was going to be built last year. Again, that doesn't mean that it has to be built last year. They have a completion date. I obviously with the corrections that we need to make, that adds time to it. With the death that they had last year as well, I mean, just out of the act of humanity, a person would say, well, that's unfortunate. I think they should have more time, you know, so
So, I
we
mean,
got-
we
we got-
can deal with that.
agreed. Right now, we're just trying to please the landowners and please you guys, so.
So in your report, you mentioned that Monday you were on project,
Yes, Madam Chairman,
and
correct.
Commissioner Pelton and Schwartz were there.
Schwartz and your road superintendent, Superintendent Schwarzenberger. I think we
So-
have a way forward.
Yeah, that's what my question is. That things are
Yes,
being
ma'am.
taken care of
Yes, ma'am.
according to
Commissioner Pelton,
satisfaction of.
if you wanted to chime in on anything, I guess you're more than welcome to too. But yeah, as from what I understand, I think we have a way forward.
They're still dealing with the DOT on what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're coming out on Friday. I was been speaking with the district, and you know there are things that we're obligated to do and things that we should do just to make the district happy, and that's what we want to work through. Further discussion? Okay. On 119th, so CSI is still planning on an early to mid-October, August start date, but they'll lock in more on that date in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, we are working with the utilities and their associated relocation, particularly Mackenzie Electric and Consolidated Telecom out there. You guys signed some agreements last year, last commission meeting on that Mackenzie Electric line. I'm not sure if you, Tracy, have you seen any action out there? Are they
Not McKinsey as of yet, that I've
Okay.
noticed.
consolidated, perhaps? But those
Yes.
were the relocations, as far as I understand, are supposed to begin in the next couple of weeks here, but it's going to be all taken care of before the August startup date. So for 99th, well, let me back up. Any questions on 119th? Okay. So for 99th, if you guys recall on that, this is the project that's had significant cultural issues. So we were able to conduct a couple meetings here with the archaeological impacts. We had one that was our sub-consultants, it's Beaver Creek Archaeology, who does a lot of stuff for everybody else here too. We had members from Dunn County, I believe, Commissioners Pelton and Heiser were in attendance, as well as I don't know, maybe Terry wasn't at that first one. Actually, I think Terry may have been busy on both of them, but maybe it was Lori was in attendance. Groups from our office. Kind of discussed a way forward. If you guys recall, what we were looking at doing or have been proposing was what DOT had proposed on their Highway 200 project, which is in the same corridor, and that's placing fill material over the top of these archaeological sites. During our first meeting, we actually were able to bring in a member of the Army Corps that have been developing a relationship to try to get him on board prior to a meeting with the actual State Historical Preservation Office. It sounded like we had him on board on that. The second meeting that day actually included the Historical Preservation Office. Again, it sounded like they were going to be reasonable and how to go forward with this, and they understand that, you know, it's a road project and a lot of this area has already been disturbed. They requested that we send them our project shape files, which we have done. And at this point, we have not heard back yet from them, but it seemed to be relatively positive. And Commissioners Heiser and Pelton, you're free to chime in on your perspective as well on how that went.
You know, this project is, you know, we've already invested near $150,000 in engineering. If they let us proceed and cover this with a fabric and push it out, I can't imagine what that 2 miles of project is gonna cost us. And I think when we had our meeting, I think Lori pulled up the traffic count, and I'm like a car and a half a day. I'm just wondering what is this project actually gonna cost us for that?
Sure, I can get you some.
I mean, it's kind of shocking the amount of money we can put into something, and now, you know, we're far from even getting to the bid table.
Sure. So the entire length of the project does not need to be filled on in fabric. It's just where these cultural sites are. I can walk you through those plans too, excuse me. To clarify that, or we can give you some actual numbers and some estimated construction costs too, but obviously these cultural issues are adding significant costs to the project. You're correct.
Yep, thank you.
Any more discussion on 99th? Okay, moving along. So with Manning, so we're waiting for an easement meeting that's going to be organized per the Manning Waterworks. And I'm not sure, is Holly in the room, but I believe she's indicated she's looking for a late June to early May meeting on that and asked for some time to get that set up.
Early July.
Early July.
Or, pardon me, yes, early July, excuse me. Late June, early July, pardon me. So 2025 projects for 3rd Street Northwest, we're still waiting for our core permit, and we hope to hear back soon from them. In the meantime, the right-of-way documents are finished. I talked with Superintendent Schwarzenberger. We'll begin collecting right-of-way on that project now. For 7th Street, and it's the same for both. The core permits were officially submitted along with those wetland credits that was agreed to be purchased. So we're waiting for the 404 permit. Right-of-way documents are in their final stages of completion. We'll begin collecting right-of-way on those as well. For the 2026 projects, 115th Avenue Southwest and 1st Street Southwest, the project has been surveyed. The data is being compiled to form the design files. A preliminary alignment will be ready for the county to review here shortly, and by shortly, I mean prior to the next commission meeting. Beaver Creek has also been given the go-ahead to perform wetland delineation and cultural studies needed for obtaining the core permits. And then the other 2 projects are the ones that are on hold that were still to be determined whether they're going to be built or not. Questions on anything else? And
Thank you, Darren.
Do we
Welcome.
need to talk about that extension for Schwartz since their end date is going to be before our next meeting?
Whether it needs to be done now, I guess I don't see that as being critical. We're not planning on holding them on LDs. I guess our initial thought, I guess we would propose probably having a sit down with the road department and all parties involved, just including the portfolio holders or whoever else needs to join and kind of handle.
They did send me the extension last night,
Okay.
and I think their new completion date is September 1st.
Okay.
So it must be a DOT, probably a kind of a template.
I would assume
So I don't know if we want to act on that or if we wait, or I guess see how we can get through this till the next meeting, and
We're not going to
No.
assess anything
No.
anyway now,
No.
so
It's kind of
it
what I
can
was
wait till the
understanding,
parties
too.
can discuss it,
yeah,
you guys.
It sounds
get to
rational.
resolution
Sure,
as soon as we can on that so they can be productive.
understandable. Okay, very good. Thank you all for your time, and Madam Chair,
Thank
we
you.
do have pay requests for you to sign.
Madam Chair, good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
More to come on 27th. We'll just keep everyone updated as that becomes more clear. 109th, we have provided digital files and contact information to aid the road department and landowner negotiations. We also delivered the stamp plan set and all the documents needed for easement acquisition. No word back yet on whether or not any of those landowners have been contacted. Any questions on 109th?
So, James, I was wondering, has there been any more effort with the landowners on this project?
We were told to leave that to the road department on this project. Well, all these projects, they all seem to be easement sensitive, landowner sensitive.
And the plans are at the road department?
Yeah, I delivered them last meeting to
Okay.
Superintendent Schwartzenberger.
Just wondering if things are moving forward. 'Cause they just- So, I mean, as far as easement acquisition on this,
Well, there's some issues with that, and one project at a time, we've struggled through one easement, and we've acquired that, so we'll see how this next one goes. So
Thank you.
I look forward to the day where this is no longer on a report.
I share that sentiment.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, yeah.
And maybe to elaborate a little more, last week, Terry and Mike and I had met out on 82nd Avenue, and the landowner would maybe like to do some big changing, not go through that, to that big cut we'd have to go, up north of his place there, all the way up and around, maybe just upgrade the road through the yard instead. So we just had that meeting last Thursday, so we really haven't had a chance to research it. I meeting with another landowner, he was gone last week, so when he gets back on the other project there, so on 82nd, so
Is that the south?
the north segment.
Oh, north, okay.
I mean, excuse me, the south segment.
So are the plans already complete on that?
We're scheduled to have those ready in 2 weeks. So, and that project has already been permitted. So if we're gonna do a change of scope, that permit would kind of go out the window, and Commissioner Heiser is landowner number one down there, he wants that regraded through his yard then to kind of
Yes,
satisfy.
that's the conversation that Terry and Mike and I had last week. We
Okay.
spent some time with him, and we actually did drive that, the south route. That's like going through the mountains.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, that project would be literally, I would think, cost multi-million-dollar project. And if we can, because not only if we build that, it's tough to close this kind of, so I think there's some things that worked out. We're in conversation, which we never had before, so I'm waiting for the other landowner that's involved to get back when he was in Texas last week, so we'll keep chomping away at it and get together with him, so.
So you have the core permit already?
We have the core permit for 8 mile, yeah, so that would be 6 miles of 82nd and then 2 miles of 26th Street.
So
So,
would your part of that 82nd still be good, or do you got to redo the whole thing?
That's a good question. I mean, if we wanted to add the driveway through Hawks, then yeah, we would definitely have to re-permit. But if we were only doing from 25E north to the bridge, we should be okay.
First 6 miles should be.
Should be fine.
so I guess my question is, was this project, the road department felt this was the way it was, needed to be done. It was on the list, and so I don't understand all the changes now.
Well, like when I first come on the board here, my concern is let's get the easements first. We've never had the easements out there. And we're not going to condemn it, as far as I'm concerned, so that's why we have to have the conversations. Are they in favor of the project? And not only by, if we chose to build that south segment, then we have to build another half a mile for another landowner to get to his place.
If 25E was going to be closed, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, well, I get it. We've spent the money to design it. It's frustrating, but I mean, we just got to work our way through it. I mean, until we get the landowners right away,
This is the first time the landowner said he wants to, mainly it was going the other way to keep the traffic out of his yard.
That's been that way for years.
Right, it was my understanding initially that he had petitioned the road department to have the CMC route redirected around his property. Is that correct? Okay,
I don't know, not formally.
okay.
Right, Madam Chairman, I agree with Al. For years, I've been saying we go out and we talk to the landowners first before we do anything. Because you go out there and if you got a 4-mile project and nobody on there wants the road, get the heck out of there.
Right,
I mean, why are we putting money into a project that we're never gonna do? That's just like, I don't know. I don't know, maybe the commissioners are gonna have to do it. Maybe we're gonna have to team up and go out and start talking about right of ways. Because this is costing us a lot of money. We've been sitting on a lot of these projects for years. I mean, I was gone for 2 years and we're still doing some of the same projects. I'm talking to all the engineers.
I think we're let's move forward from the past and let's try and be better how we do things and be a little more cognizant. And I think we can get through some of these, but it just can take a little time.
I think too, we have to remember when these projects are decided or looked at, I think the idea, or my main concern is that it's a safety, for the public and the farmers and ranchers out there. That's why you have one person on a stretch of road that's opposed to something that's it's truly a safety issue, then, do we just say, we're not going to do it? That's my concern. I think we have to keep that in the back of our mind as well, or the front of our mind.
And I think this project here, if we leave the existing road, I don't think that so much is a safety issue, but anyway, let's move on from that and let's learn from our mistakes and
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Commissioner Heiser alluded to the north segment as well. Yeah, we have submitted 65% plans in April. We were kind of requesting that the design comments be made prior to applying for any permitting for that one. So we have not started the permit application for 82nd North. We really wanted to make sure that the design was something that this board wanted.
And I think we've got the time now. I think, we're down the calendar into starting July. I don't think we'll have time this year for anybody to build it and get it totally designed, but we're going to make it our goal to either do the best job we can to get these easements acquired. So probably in 26, I would think, to get them to go, because we're out of time.
Right.
So we're going to do our best we can to get them acquired.
How long are your 404 permits good for?
I'd have to look at. I'll have to look. Typically, I believe it's 2 years, but it really just depends on the date that it was issued. So I can get back to you on 82nd South. 109th did not require any permitting, so that one's fine. So yeah, I will research that and get back to you.
See if we can get an extension or.
Yeah, I'm guessing that they would be pretty liable on that, so.
So 82nd North, we already purchased wetland credits on that one, right?
No, I put the brakes on that because we did not,
Okay.
You don't actually make the payment until the job is built anyway.
Okay.
So we just get a letter of availability until the road is built.
Okay.
Any questions on any of these projects? Right?
Thank
you.
you, Jay.
Thanks.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Got a few updates for you and a couple pay estimates to present. Starting with construction projects, a little bit of an update. I don't think it's a big deal, a little bit of a delay on the 119th and 22nd Street. Bronco Brothers had initially talked about maybe starting in early July. Now that could be mid-July, maybe even late July, but it's been bid, it's going to happen. Just might be a little bit later starting date than what we had anticipated early on. Another project that Bronco Brothers is working on, 105th Avenue. They have roughly 2 miles graded out. We are recommending pay estimate number 3. The amount is $151,958.05, which we would recommend payment to Bronco Brothers for that project.
Is that the amount?
I don't see the
Yeah, I
amount
don't see it up there.
Let's see.
on,
I see a 90,044.16.
they made
On
the
the
motion, but I don't remember
That's
what
pay
the number,
estimate number 2.
what amount was it?
That seems to be the wrong update. It's pay estimate number 3.
And what was the amount?
The amount is $151,958.05.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to pay that pay estimate at $151,958.05 to Bronco Brothers Incorporated.
There's a second.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Heiser, second by Commissioner Kleeman to pay Bronco Brothers pay estimate number 3. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes. The motion carries.
Next project that's been bid, Bechtel Paving was awarded that project in Dunn Center area, 98th Avenue and Forest Street. They're looking at starting construction in July or August, so that'll happen this year. Next project that is under active construction, 97th Avenue, being built by Jensen Brothers. We do have pay estimate number 1. The amount is $70,000. I think that's incorrect on the screen, but it's pay estimate number 1. The amount is $70,535.35, which we are recommending payment for that project. They just got started last week, so that's why this is a little lower number than what we normally see.
Madam Chairman, I'll move that we pay estimate number 1 on 97th Avenue in the amount of $70,535.35 to Jensen Brothers.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Heiser to pay estimate number 1 to Jensen Brothers. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton? Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes. Motion carries.
One last construction project, the seal coat that was done last year, they had some corrective work they had to do. Aztec is the contractor. They did that work last week sometime. We haven't reviewed it yet, but we believe it's been done. So that, assuming everything checks out, that should be the last of the work on that project. That's a federal aid project, so how that works is the DOT essentially makes the contractor payments and then invoices the county. That still could be months away, but we don't have any pay estimates. That's administered through the DOT. So a little bit different, but that project is probably going to come off the list at the next meeting. Some of the design projects we're getting ready for bid. We have a bid opening set up for July 2nd for the Pinewood Meadow subdivision, just south of New Raddick. Still got to meet up with some of the landowners and homeowners just to make sure they're aware of the project and kind of get their blessing. I think we're able to really minimize the disturbance. I think our design will fit in really well, but I do want to reach out to some of those homeowners and walk through their lot with them just so they understand what's going to happen. Next project, we're kind of waiting for the DOT approach permit regarding that 3T in JR's industrial subdivision. We applied for, kind of on behalf of the Cowboy Station, a permanent approach. The DOT declined that, I think based on some previous agreements, I guess. So what we're trying to do now is get a temporary access or approach permitted, which would be just for construction, so we could close 3T during construction. I think we'll get that, but that hasn't been secured. So that's one of the things that's kind of holding us back from going to bid on that project. But I think it's going to happen, but I also thought there was a good chance we'd get a permanent approach. So we're going to kind of work through those details. Next project we have is that 8-mile project from 111th Avenue going west to Gene Harris vicinity. With the county's great help, they negotiated the last landowner easement. So we're ready to go to bid for that project. There is one remaining easement with McKinsey Electric, which we talked about before. That has not been signed, but my understanding is there's no issue with it. It just has to be approved by the board, which will happen at the end of the month. So I feel confident we can go to a bid opening without that easement secured. I think it's just a formality at this point. What we'd like to do is bid it at the July, I believe it's the July 16th meeting. We can carve out a few minutes. So that'll be, I guess that's 4 weeks from today is when that bid opening would be. That is a very large project, very complex, a lot of traffic. So if we can't bid this thing until mid-July, my recommendation, and I think it's a given, we have a 2026 completion date. We could have an interim completion date for how much of the project gets done this year, but I think it'd be a really aggressive schedule to think we're going to get that project complete this year. We could do it, but I think you're going to really pay a premium for that. But I'm open to suggestions, but my recommendation is to have a 2026 completion date.
I agree with you. I think it'd be reflected in our bids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that I agree too, because, you know, you can have a nice fall. A lot of times when I work construction, we can work up to Thanksgiving. Some years we're kind of cut short. So depending what Mother Nature just up, but I would definitely think you're on the right track, Jeremy.
Right. And, you know, how that affects things is, you know, we have it designed for pavement. That's what the commission wanted to do. Paving is a totally separate project. Whether that jeopardizes paving for 2026 or if that gets pushed to 2027, those are the things we got to have a discussion about as far as if we have a completion date so late in 2026, is that going to complicate the paving schedule? I think we can do the grading and the paving the same year. Landowners are going to kind of regret that perhaps, but it's going to have to get done at some point. I don't know if it's better to have it in construction in potentially 25, 26, and 27, or if it's better to have it in 25 and 26. Once again, I'm open to suggestions, but
I think, Jeremy, I think that weather will dictate what we can get. If we get things out and if there's a contractor that can get on it, I think we'll be able to tell by construction season end where we can go with our paving for the rest of the project. I always like to see a project sit through winter, get freeze thaw, settlement. I think there's some issues on roads that are built and paved the same year. Mother Nature doesn't have a chance to work the soil, so I guess let's just see how the summer plays out.
Okay, fair enough. Some of the other projects we're not, to be honest with you, we're not quite as close to bid opening as we'd like to be. That 114th, we're anticipating an August bid opening now. At one time we were at July. Now we're looking at August. 104th Avenue from the county line going north, we're looking at August bid opening for that project. Inactive design projects, we're not spending a whole lot of time on those. Nothing new to report on that, for instance. Last project we haven't really talked about a whole lot is that the bridge on 92nd Avenue. We're still getting ready to apply for flex funding. We got a portion of the engineering awarded the last time, and we've been encouraged to by the DOT essentially to apply for flex funding, which should score very well. So that's probably going to be 2026 construction, assuming we get flex funding for that project.
We got a question on that. I didn't follow up on that house, but is there separate flex funding for bridges and then separate for like road projects, complete projects, or is it all one?
You know, I seen essentially a table. I don't know if they carved out a special allocation for bridges, but they do the same oil producing versus non-oil producing, and how that gets shuffled around, I'm not sure, but I'll send you that because it's pretty informative, and they have dollar values assigned to those, which are different than what it was first go around. And I'm not sure if that's helpful to Dunn County
Okay.
or
I'd be
hurtful,
curious,
but
yeah. Thank you.
yeah, they do have a carve out of funding though. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Barry?
Morning.
Morning.
I guess the blades are out working yet, and I think we started graveling on one of the road projects, 105th Avenue today. And we should have 3 utility permits. The first one we got is on First Street Southwest. It's out by the Arnie Skajenko pit. It's for McKenzie Electric. They want to put an anchor that comes into our right of way. And it'll still be 36 feet from the center of the road. Recommend approval for that one. And then on 115th Avenue, okay, on 115th Avenue, that's up by John Harris's. That'll be for a gas line crossing. And we'd recommend approval on that. And then the last one will be on 6th Street Northwest, and that's up north of Allen Bangs. And we'd recommend approval for that as well. And that'll be for a fiberglass production water.
When they're crossing the roads, you're making sure they're deep enough and stuff, so if we have a road construction, that we don't have to.
Yep. Yep, any of them that are, especially the ones that are even coming up, we send them to the engineers as well too. So.
Okay. We don't have to.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to go ahead and approve the permits.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman, second by Commissioner Pelton to approve the utility permits as presented. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Oh, I
Failed to
got
mention,
somebody-
Terry, that the rain we had at our place to 3 and 80 hundredths, it blew most of the straw wattles up on the back slope.
Yep, we were out and looked at them. There's we got
Yeah.
some.
It must have been them ditches where they blade. I just went for a little ride last night. It looks like their ditches must have been plumb full of water.
Yep, there's a few places that actually ran over the road too. I mean, I think it went as far east as north of Richardson over just same streak all the way across.
Well,
That's a problem.
it's a good problem. It flushed all the dams out.
So, yeah, we got help out there now and they're
Yeah,
restaking a bunch of them wattles, so.
you'll be fine till you get there. Thanks, Terry.
Well, Matt, do you have something you'd like to? No, just, okay. And, lost my agenda. It's you coming in at 10. North Dakota County Commission Education Committee. Some information out, Sally.
So I got an email the other day from Michelle at the Association of Commissioners, and I just wanted to bring it up to you guys. I did email it to you. but they're looking for commissioners to serve on 3 committees. The audit, nominating, and resolutions, and there's one more, she didn't list it on here, but just so you guys know, and there is a nomination form on there. So if any of you are interested, or if you guys want to nominate somebody for one of the committees, just let me know, and I can get that over to her.
Yeah, so just get a hold of Sally and she can, I'm on the board for the County Commissioner Association, and I think, you know, it's a good way to kind of be involved with what, you know, different issues that come up. So I would encourage you guys to get involved if you care to. So why don't we take a quick break before 10 o'clock here. And Christie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so I just have a rundown for the past few months and kind of what we have coming in the future. We're hip deep in achievement days, planning achievement days. In April, we had our advisory council meeting the week before Kristen went out with her baby, so we'll get together to review our results from that when she returns after her maternity leave. We've had the mandatory spring conference at NDSU in April, and then I did the North Dakota Nutrition Conference also. I did nutrition programming in kindergarten and second grade through the school. Been at the food pantry as my schedule allows, and what we're doing with that is we're taking products that aren't going off the shelves and we're making recipes so they're providing the stuff, we're cooking it, and then so they can do taste samples, and then we'll have the stuff right there for people to try and then buy if they are take with them. Two big conferences that I attended, probably two of the best that I've taken in my years of teaching and everything. I did a Crucial Conversations, how to talk to people, how to deliver bad news, how to take bad news in, how to teach people how to handle crucial conversations. So that was very, very interesting for me. And then I just finished getting certified in Stepping On, and that's the program for 60 and older to help people stay in their homes. It's a balance and strengthening program, and then you work with a pharmacist, a PT, OT. They come in and present an optometrist, and then you just kind of monitor with the people who take the class. It's a 7-class series once a week. Very good series. We're going to try and get that going. We have a group. We co-sponsored it with Stark County. So we have a group in Stark County that are going to try it. And then I have a few ladies that are interested in driving over with me from Dunn County. So we'll have both counties going at the same time. You have to hold a class within the first 90 days of the training. So we're working on that. I went to Stark County and observed our parent educator do the babysitting workshop. So we'll have a babysitting class coming up here, hopefully before school starts for our 11 and 12-year-olds. I judged at the Regional Communication Arts for 4-H in New England a few weeks ago, and we're going to try and get that going, communication arts going in our 4-H groups a little bit more. It's the public speaking side of it. I was in McKenzie County and judged their fair yesterday, and I'll be in Mercer County next week, kind of helping me understand what needs to happen at a fair when I'm picking our judges and lining that up. So that was fun. Horse practices every Monday till the fair, and then next Tuesday we have a horse specialist coming in to work with the kids at the rodeo grounds. We are hosting a STEM program for the Agronomy Center tours in July. When they come in and the parents are doing the tours at the Agronomy Center, we're doing some STEM activities with the kids. I'm working with NDSU and Drake University to update the vaping curriculum that we use through NDSU. I've been asked to sit on the hiring committee through NDSU for our new gerontology specialist, and I'll have to do interviews in Fargo for that in end of July and August. There's 3 days that I'll be going there. Get to be the guest speaker at the library next week, and it's dairy month, so we're going to read a story on dairy, talk about my plate, the dairy part of my plate, and then we're going to make plastic bag ice cream with the kids. We've had lots of chemical applicators testing in our office. Lots of them. And then we have the county fair. Our office takes care of the open class at the county fair, so we'll be working on that. If you could spread the word, we'd like more entries. We're trying to grow that part of the county fair and get more residents involved. So, any questions?
Questions? You've been busy.
Very
fun.
busy.
Any spare ice cream? I like ice cream.
All right.
I want to know
You could
how
use
to-
the second hand, so you could come help. All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chrissy. Yep. Is Will in here? All right, there he is.
Good morning. Okay, Madam Chair, I'm here to revisit our sign shop in Killdeer roof project. I have two bids in front of you, the two bids that we went back to the drawing board, so to speak, and got bids for a standing seam or mechanical seam metal roof. Both these bids are for that material. The second one is a little bit different than the first one. They both recommended tackling this project in different ways. It's our recommendation to go with High Point as far as the bid. It is the low bid, but it is a little different. In fact, they're going to take off the old roof and put a new roof on. Kind of pretty straightforward. And the other bid was to leave the existing roof, put 4 inches of insulation, and reskin with a standing seam. Both were discussed with the contractors. They both had varying degrees of why they want to do it the way they wanted to do it, but it's kind of our recommendation to go with the low bid and go with the standing seam and removal of the existing roof, if that makes sense to everybody. So there's really not much to discuss other than the two different types and the price. And I guess from our department, I think that the bid from High Point would be the one to go with if we decide to move forward with this project.
And what is the difference between the mechanical seam, metal roof, and standing seam? How are they different?
We've done some research, and standing seam is a wide range of product. And, you know, the difference is mechanical, they actually seal the joint or the seam between the metal. So it acts as one roof when it's completed. In fact, to take it apart after it's been sealed, you have to cut it. Some of the standing seam just clip together, and there is potential for that to still have leaks. This is kind of this would be the Cadillac product as far as standing seam that goes. So
I have a lot of experience with the standing seam roof, and I see the other bids got 4 inches of fiberglass insulation. Is that not, do you think that's not worth it, blue extra insulation?
I guess what we landed on was one of them is going to be removing the old, and I think that we discussed and we felt like that was the way to go, is to remove the old product and put a new product on. So that 4 inches is basically, I believe that's to prevent condensation in between the two roof products and prevent any sort of problems with that.
Is this standing seam, that's the same one they put on the shopping
Manning,
after
yes.
the hail?
Yep.
Has there been any leaks in there?
There has around the boots, and we actually had that, one of the bidders fixed that here recently. So, yeah.
What do we have for insulation in that roof of that building?
It's the Simple Saver product where it's the fiberglass bat with the bag on the inside, the white bag to kind of contain the insulation. So, the state of the insulation is going to be the other reason why I think pulling the old roof off and taking a look at what potential damages we've had from leaks in the past couple years. So there is potential for us to take a look at that insulation and see where we're at. And that's the other reason why we felt like removing the old product was the way to go. So
if that insulation needs changing, can they do that?
they won't be able to, but we would have somebody that we can get a hold of to get that done. And I don't see that as a major cost. I think that's going to end up, the roof is going to be the major driving force, and we can probably house that in our budget if we have to touch up and fix some of the insulation. Any other questions?
Was this done before we bought the building?
Well,
The damage to the roof, was that done before we bought the building?
I have a feeling that it wasn't damage. I think it's a maintenance. I think whenever you have the fasteners on a traditional steel roof, there's the potential for them to back out. There's potential for them to fail. And I think that that's the life of the roof from when we bought it is just showing its age. And we're inheriting the maintenance responsibility to fix it. So.
But it looks like, just looking at this picture, there might have been some hail damage on it too.
Yeah, there could have been. There could have been. Obviously, we didn't own the building when the hail came through Killdeer. I'm assuming that that's from that. It could have been damage from that. They took if anybody is interested, they took a fair amount of pictures, and a lot of the fasteners are backed out. A lot of them are not put in perfectly straight, where the rubber grommet on the screw isn't sealing. So, a lot of that will be solved if we go standing seam. There's no fasteners that back out.
What's it going to cost us if we have to insulate it? Is it going to be more than the?
No, I don't foresee that happening. It just depends on the extent, the damage that we might see. It might not. It might be fine. The only way to find out is for us to take that roof off, and that's kind of why I want to go with a low bid, get the roof removed, find out what we've got for insulation problems, if there are any, handle them then, and then put a new standing seam roof on that we're not going to have any problems with moving forward.
Yeah, the other one you'll never know.
No, and there's a lot of different ways to go out at a project, and we just felt like removing that roof and finding out really what we're dealing with is the best path forward. It also happens to be the low bid. It makes it an easier decision in my book as well. So.
Even, I guess, the insulation, it may not be the whole roof.
No.
It's going to be where the leaks.
Yes, exactly.
My only concern is when you say you got to seal each joint, them seals are there to fail, so I guess that's my.
You mean seal the joints between the mechanical?
Well, when you said these joints are all sealed when they're put up there on this system from High Point.
Yep, and both of those systems are the same. They're mechanically sealed. So the roof project from both bids should be very, very comparable. The difference.
Will it be the same roof that's on the?
Yes. Yep.
And see, the way I'm looking at it, it's different ones. So mechanical seam panel from High Point, it's snap lock one. So that'd be more like a residential snap lock together standing seam.
Yeah, I don't. I think that they use a machine that when we talked to him yesterday, because that was one of the areas of contention, is to try and get both contractors to bid and get it apples to apples as close as we could.
Yeah.
He made it very clear in discussing with him that they use a mechanical seal and so snap lock, that might be a product description. I'm not sure, but according to Isaiah at High Point, it's a mechanical seal that they do that once it's sealed, you can't take those panels apart.
Because there's actually a tool that they go up there with, and they set the panel and they crimp it all the way up, and then it seals it up tight.
Yes.
And that's the one we want, so that it's basically one solid roof when it's all done.
Yep. And so that was discussed by both contractors that they were sealing it like you described. So I felt like the product that we're going to get on the outside of the building would be the same between both bids. So.
How soon would they be able to start, or do we want them to?
We're probably, with the low bid, he said a month and a half out. And I think, us getting on the books, obviously that's the start of us getting it fixed before winter.
Wishes.
I'll make a motion that we accept a bid from High Point for $99,940 to do the roof.
There's a second.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Pelton to accept the bid of $99,944 from High Point.
Yep.
To repair the roof. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
No.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
No.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the information, Will.
Yep.
Historical Society. And then. Morning.
Good morning. Linda Kettleson. I work for the Dunn County Historical Society, and I have Sue Powers Hartman with me. She is our board president currently.
Hi.
Thank you for your consideration of this grant request. I've been on both sides of grants before, the requesting and the awarding, and this is the most unique situation I have seen. I hope you had a chance to review the letter that I sent. The Dunn County Historical Society was gifted mineral royalties years ago from Les and Dorothy Pelton, and those actually came to fruition. Again, there was initial one small well in 2008, which was minor royalties, but now these are major royalties. Income, when you're reporting to the IRS, such as that, actually counts against you being a nonprofit. So the other sheet I included now that I gave to Sally kind of shows what I was trying to explain how they figure this. So the 990 that we file is multiple pages long, but in this one, in that section A where it shows your public support, that is basically your donations, your contributions, grant funding that you get for your organization. And what is saving us or has saved us to this point was a $500,000 estate donation that we got from Walter Steffen a few years ago. So that's where you see that 500,000 in there. When you get down to that section B, which is your total support, you can see where that's actually the income. Interest and dividends are actually counted as income also when it comes to this. When you look at that column for that's headed 2022, our fiscal year runs October through September. So the tax filing for 22 is actually October 22 through September of 23. And that was when our oil royalties first showed up for us. That's where you see that we received $1 million. But the fun part of this is when they take it over 5 years to total it up, and in the end, they're dividing that public support by that gross receipts number, your total support down there, to figure out a public support percentage. And prior to this, thanks to that estate donation that we have, when you look at box 15 down there, the prior year, we were almost at 84%. But as soon as that other one hit, we're now at 38% for the prior year. And what's going to happen right now, we're in the middle of filing for our 23-24 year. We will obviously fail that. We have almost another $1 million in oil royalties, interest, and dividends because interest has been really good. So that's been a plus too during this. The current year that we're in right now, we will fail this test also. Because when you get down to there, the end of that, your public support test, you're looking at what you're filing, but you can also go back to the prior year. So right now on this one, this current year, or the one that they're filing right now for 23, will be saved because we're at that 38% for the year 22. But when we get to September 30th, we're going to fail again for this year. So part of our request is to help us save the nonprofit. We'll be 50 years old next year. We've been an organization in Dunn County since 1976, but I also included for you some of the projects that we have done, projects that we hope to do. Once we started getting this funding, we were able to start doing some of repairs, maintenance, things like that we really needed to get caught up on. The one thing that we actually found was really great was we have our machinery building used to have a gravel floor, and we were able to pour concrete in there. And last fall, we hosted the cream can supper in there also, which was really nice by being able to move around all of our machinery and stuff. But we've replaced, other concrete out there, done other work on our buildings. started with a really good security system for all of our area and stuff too, so. One thing in the past, we talked about once we started getting this funding, we have the acreage to the north of the museum. It's probably 6-7 acres out there. It's the old baseball fields for the school that was there. And right away it was like, well, we have opportunity. Les and Dorothy Pelton always wanted us to, use that property and expand out into there. So there's talk about a new facility and things we could do. And, we knew the county had money, but we're not at the point of actually being able to come and say we have a project of that scope, to have asked for funding before, thinking, we'll save our big ask for when we really need it. We are working with the city of Dunn Center right now also with their sewer and water project, and we will be stubbing in water and sewer to that area. So we will be able to, hopefully expand into it and, see what we can do there. In the past, we've actually talked about housing. We'd like to have housing for a curator. And when the Housing Authority received money, I think I was probably one of the first calls from Carrie Boster. And she said, Linda, the Housing Authority has money. Do you guys still want to do your project? She says, you guys could be the first. And I'm like, yeah, we need to get that water and sewer done first. But, there's opportunities for tourism now. That Theodore Roosevelt Library will bring extra people to our area. And, by increasing our capacity to do some of these things, we can hopefully bring more people to Dunn County or attract more people to Dunn County too. So I'm open to questions.
So, excuse me, your ask is a donation from the county so that you meet that standard to be a nonprofit. Otherwise, you lose the nonprofit status.
Correct. Yeah, and if you get to the way bottom of that, it's if you fail it 2 years in a row, you check the box that says private foundation. Our other, option in this would be if, we fail it, that we throw ourselves on the mercy of the IRS and say, there's a facts and circumstances test and say, yes, this is why we are, a true nonprofit. And this income, basically because it's oil, was kind of a temporary thing, but I'm not so sure we want to end up in that situation with the IRS.
And your expenses don't count towards this.
No.
You could have that much in expenses, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, we, what we spent doesn't count, or the projects does not bring down that income.
And this is, you're dealing with an attorney and an accountant
Yes, we
on
are.
this, so.
Yes, Olivia Krebs is our attorney. She's with Kubik, Bogner, Riddle, and Sellinger and Dickinson. And she attended our meeting last night with little, last input on this. And we have also engaged with Ida Bailey out of Fargo this past year now for, reviewing all of our accounting practices and recommendations to improve on what we've got.
Board have any comments?
So if we were to make the donation deal, where would the money go to?
So it would go into a special project fund. I did visit with Olivia Krebs on that last night too. I did give you some money or some information there on like the North Dakota Community Foundation. We actually right now have a non-endowment project fund with them currently. And those funds, they go into a fund like that, can be withdrawn at any time to do any of these projects.
And when is the filing deadline?
So our fiscal year will end September 30th.
Okay.
So, yeah. We're here now basically because of the fact that, like our attorney explained to us last night, if the county does turn us down or, we basically will have an emergency meeting of the Finance Committee next week to figure out if there's another way that we can do this.
I'd like to make a comment. I had my opportunity to go through it when they had the cream can sumper. I was totally awestruck, the stuff that's in that building. I don't quite understand all this, but I think it's a worthy project. We always want to try and help communities do things and bring things to the community. Like I said, I just couldn't believe. I mean, I think you could spend an entire day and maybe not get to everything. So I think it's a great project, and if we ever have the opportunity to do something, it's probably now, rather down the road, to help preserve what people have worked very hard to, put there. So.
What are you thinking? I mean, where would you be with the projects you got? What are you looking at?
As far as
Dollars.
dollars. So we're requesting 1 million right now. That's about what we would need to offset. Because the fun thing of that, like I'm showing you where, your donations get totaled in. It's like basically your $1,000,000 donation is going to help, but it's also going to kind of work against us in that figure. So that's why we're at the figure that we're at. And, if we pass this test for this year, we are going to be good for next year because it is a 2-year test also, which gives us time to, do some planning and look at what we can do in that area if we are going to do some infrastructure expansion. But there are more issues we have too. Interesting listening to a leaky roof, because the fun thing about when you have gravel in a building, when your roof leaks, it soaks in. And now that we pour concrete in there, we see puddles. So, yeah.
I guess for me, if we were gonna give that money, I'd like to see the project list that it's gonna go to, so it's allocated to something,
Yeah, so, and I included budget for you also for the coming year, what we're proposing at this point, and, what we've got in there right now, what I was looking at on here. We're working like at the infrastructure with the city. They're guesstimating about 80,000 on that, although they have offered to help us with some of that also. We'd like to get that heating, air conditioning, fans going in those machinery buildings. Continuing with our financial, the audits and inventory. You shared, there was that REC article, which was really interesting, because you never know we're subject to the open records laws also and stuff. So you never know who's going to make an open records request of you and for what. But our inventory, because it's donations and things like that, is fully, all of the artifacts, open public records on that type of stuff too. We'd like to add more cameras and things like that, continue with legal policies and procedures and things that we need to get updated with that. The other thing we've got next year, like I said, with the 50th, it's also the 40th of the museum buildings. And we would like to participate with that 250th celebration. So for right now, as far as actual projects, we're kind of where we're at right now until they're done with getting water and sewer and infrastructure to that north area. And at that point in time, right now, they're just stubbing in the water and sewer. So if we were to do any other buildings or anything else, we're going to have to do streets and, bring the water and stuff and sewer in further also.
There is a desire by some of the board members, I'll say not all of them, but most of them, and from our members, for a new building that would possibly be back there in that open space. And if you were in there, you notice that we just are running out of room. And we have a lot of stuff that can't come out. And I'm sure all museums deal with that. But at some point, we would like to have a new building. So, yeah, where would that million go? Well, if you're talking about a new building, the first thing you have to start doing is talking about hiring an accountant and all those things that come first before you can even start.
Yeah.
So that's where some of that money could go.
The Historical Society asks for a levy of a fifth of a mil, 20, yeah, or 25%. So that's roughly 25,000, not quite. That's public support. I don't know if that's something, I mean, it's pretty small amount we're talking about.
So you need a decision by end of September then, is when the latest would be?
Actually, we like a decision as soon as possible, because if we need to figure out something else, some other way to fund this, looking to somebody else, we couldn't wait until after September 30th. So that's why we're here now. We've actually been discussing this for the last 2 or 3 months, because we don't, what would the next plan be? But like I said, if you guys aren't willing to, help us with this right now, we probably need to, have that emergency financial committee meeting and try and figure out, I don't know if it's a urgent request to members. We have over 200 members also for our organization, but, we'd need to figure out a different route to go on this.
Would it be, if this was tabled till the next meeting, give us a little more, I mean, I'm not talking about into August or anything like that, but another 2 weeks? Would, I think, I just sense that.
I think it's a worthy project. I think it's just kind of like a big ask for something like that. I think it's important to preserve our artifacts and everything that are in Dunn County. So I think like give us till the next meeting to kind of hash it out and things. If that's soon enough, I think the support is here. I think we're just kind of like, it's a lot of money, but not that it's not worth it.
Well, yeah, and I understand what you're saying, because like that was kind of our, reason for not coming to the county before. It's like, let's have a major project before we come and do a big ask for something, where this kind of is like all of a sudden it's like, well.
Running out of time.
Well, yeah, and right now it's like, where federal funding really isn't available for us, and, where do we go? We're a county organization. And have been for 50 years. So it's like, this is really where we needed to start. But do we have plans? Yeah, we surveyed our membership on what they'd like to see in the future. And like Sue was talking about, that's what a lot of people, wanted us to make use of that land. But at this point, do we have an actual plan to do a new facility? No, we need to be able to hire the engineer, the architect, and all those people to move forward. Oh, yes. And one thing else I could throw out, that non-endowment fund too, that like we have with the North Dakota Community Foundation, where we too receive the funding from you, we could put it in something like that. They allow co-administrators to that. And because Sally needs more work to do, she could be a co-administrator on there with me, where, she could see as, what we're spending it on and as we're spending it also. Not that we, wouldn't report it back to you.
Yeah.
I guess I'd make a motion that we table this till the next meeting. Give us a little time to put stuff together.
Second that.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman, second by Commissioner Olson to table the Historical Society's donation until the next meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of
Thank
information.
you for your time
A lot
and
of work.
consideration.
Yeah, thanks.
They are.
0.25 mils. No, that's the max. Hey. Tyler? Yep, there it is.
Who's gonna watch the door?
Oh, yeah, now what?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I am doing a golf scramble on the 5th of July. It used to be the Firecracker, but since I took over, we renamed it. And I just decided maybe since there's enough events going on during the week, I would add one on the weekend to add to the chaos. So I figured I'd approach you guys to see if you guys are interested in sponsoring the lunch for the golf scramble that I'm putting on up at the Medicine Hole Golf Course. Is kind of the thought behind it, since I know donations aren't an option. So to get the involvement of the county, I'd figure out to ask if that was part of the plan for the lunch.
How much were you looking for there?
Well, if we have 18 teams, it's 72 players plus staff. So we're looking at about probably 80 to 90 people.
Dollars a plate?
I mean, I think the ideal portion would be ideally it would be best if it was like catered, or like say like Jimmy John's or Subway or something local, just to make it a little bit easier. So that way it's just hand food, and when they make the turn on the golf course, they can just stop at the clubhouse and pick it up and keep going, type of thing. I guess that would be the thought behind it.
So it's not necessarily like a full meal type
No.
of thing?
No,
Okay.
it'd be like a sandwich and chips or something, be something simple.
The money raised from this, what does that, kind of a charity?
So this is, everything goes back into the golf course.
Oh,
Yeah. So just the food that would be provided for the lunch would go directly into the people playing, and then the sponsorship would have that recognition for who did the lunch that day.
That gives roughly, if there's 100 people, $15, drink and sandwich, $1,500. Would that cover it, do you think, or more? I mean, I don't really. 15 times 100, 1,500. I mean, if there's another number, it's just throw it out there.
I mean, honestly, as far as a number, I guess my biggest thing was what I've done in the past is I know like Subway and stuff have just flat out donated, which isn't like as far as what they did. I don't know what the cost of that was, because it came out of their own direct pocket per se. So as far as you guys putting money towards it, yeah, I mean probably average about $15 a plate would be probably plentiful, I think.
I'd make that motion to provide them $1,500 for the meal.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, second by Commissioner Pelton to provide $1,500 for the Freedom Golf Scramble for the lunch. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
You'll have to work with Sally on
Yep.
getting that.
Perfect.
That expenses, you make the sandwiches yourself.
Bologna. Is Sarah here? Yes, she is.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sarah.
I am just coming to kind of give an overview of TextMyGov in the past year and a half that we have been using. As of yesterday, we looked into it. We have 765 contacts that we currently receive our messages. That total has increased a lot since we first started. We, in collaboration with the city of Killdeer and the High Plains Community Center, we surveyed the county residents, and that Luann did push that survey out for probably about a month's time or so. And TextMyGov came in as one of the top ways that people like getting their communications. It was in the top 3. Also, social media and radio was another one. So we did increase using our TextMyGov after that survey. We were kind of leery at first a little bit using that, not sure what we should use it for, like what kind of different types of messages, but we are seeing great success on it. I like the instantaneous reminder. People don't have to look to Facebook. They don't have to, hope to hear it on the radio, don't have to look for a flyer. I think people are starting to realize that too, that it is nice to get those reminders and of events and different things going on in the county. So with that being said, we are using a lot more messages than we first anticipated that we would use. Our current contract is $3,500 a year, and that includes 25,000 messages. But keep in mind, some of those messages that we do send out, if they are a little bit longer, they take more than one segment. So sometimes each person, when you send a message, it's 2 or 3 segments. That counts as 2 or 3 messages. So they can accumulate quite quickly. Last year, we did have to purchase an additional 100,000 messages, which was $750. And then in November, when our contract renewed for the year, we got the additional 25,000 messages again, and we are currently out of messages. They allow us to continue to send messages. They won't cut us off, but we have to up that. So we contacted them to see if we can renegotiate our contract, the amount of messages we have in our contract, instead of constantly purchasing more messages, because I do feel that our messages are going to continue to increase by utilizing the app. And they came back at us and said that they would still honor the $3,500 per year and up our message to 100,000. So that should pretty much get us through the year. I mean, once in a while we may have to purchase some additional messages with that, but I think 100,000 is a good number for us to work with each year. The kicker to that is they want us to start a new three-year contract. We're about 1.5 years into our contract right now. So that one would end and we would just sign a new 3-year contract committing to that. The $3,500 for 3 years.
I think TextMyGov's been a huge success. And, people really like it, so.
I agree. And we continue to try and get the word out there and push it out to the county and get people to sign up.
Like you said, what I like about it is instant.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is one thing. There's 10,000 things on Facebook, and with this, it's
Right.
there. You look at, oh yeah, this is coming up. So I think it's great.
Right.
So what we would need now is a motion to approve the 3-year contract.
Just to start a new 3-year.
Start a new 3-year.
Right.
Madam Chair, I'd make that motion. Start a new 3-year contract.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, second by Commissioner Olson, to enter into a new 3-year contract with TextMyGov.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Al, you had an update on McKenzie Bay Road?
Yes, I did visit with Doug again, and he's on McKinsey's agenda for their next meeting. I'm not sure this week or whatever. I think he contacted Brent Sanford. He used to be the Senate. Apparently, he's involved with that up there. And it sounded like, and this was before my time, the county might have had like a 60-40 share on a project, and he's thinking, when he talked to them, they would probably be up for that 40%. The county would be like we had in the past. I think they've got Rose Engineering working on it, and I think their rough estimate was like 1.8 million, and probably a couple $100,000 to do the construction engineering and complete whatever they needed to complete. I feel that if the board is okay with it, I think there's a lot of people, Dave and I had a brief conversation one day about a lot of Dunn County people use it. We're trying to get people to come to our community and county to provide this, so I think I'd be in favor of if McKenzie County would go on board to complete this project. I mean, I remember back 30 years ago going up there when the trails that used to be in there, this is a lot better, but, let's fix it up, because you go there on the weekends, and I mean, there's no parking. I think it's a great asset, so I guess if anybody else would like to elaborate a little more on it, but that's kind of what I've found out.
So with that 2 million, is that gonna get the road to where it needs to be,
I-
where it'll hold up for
I
some time?
I believe so. It'll take care of the subcuts, you know, I think I got it in my briefcase here, but, you know, they hand out the packet, what they intend to do, subcut the soft spots. And they're actually gonna put a 4-inch overlay over top of it, so, you know, probably profile mill it, put a 4-inch overlay on top, that should take care of it, fix the soft spots. That's the biggest thing, is you can put all the pavement in the world on top, if you got a soft spot down below, it's gonna come right back. So I think they plan on fixing them, by what I can understand, so, I think it'd probably be a worthwhile project for the county to, we fixed a lot of roads over the community, and if you want to do a traffic count up there, I think it would be mind-boggling how many people use that road over a weekend, so.
Would this be able to be done this year?
I think they're very hopeful because apparently, I think Mayo's got a big project up there, and there's some other paving contractor that's close by.
Would they, it would be done after maybe Labor Day? Is that,
That would probably be best when there's, 'cause I couldn't only imagine trying to subcut 2 feet into the road and there's $500,000 campers and boats come tooling in there. So I don't know all the particulars, but I think it would be a worthwhile, I mean, like I said, we create a lot of projects and do a lot of roads. I think that would be well money spent up there.
do we want to have consensus, wait till we hear from McKinsey Company?
Yeah, I
so we
think-
know the dollar amount?
I think nothing's going to happen before then. I mean, I would hope this board would be supportive of it so we can, I think Doug's going to attend a meeting to say, yes, Dunn County is in support. I think it'll make them feel more to say, yes, we're going to do it. Dunn County, we're going to do it.
Sound better than Dunn County's waiting to see what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My point exactly. So
Okay.
I think we could, if it's up to this board, I could share with Doug that this county board's on board with 60%, and I'm sure McKinsey County will be too, because I think there's a lot of McKinsey County people up there too.
Would you make that a motion?
I'd make that a motion that to support the 60% on the construction cost up to the, well, that's just an estimate of 2 million. That's an estimate. We all know how estimates can come in on bid projects, so I don't know if we want to put cap or,
It'll give them something to work with.
yeah, right. Yeah, let's do a 60-40 split and go from there.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
Okay.
all right, that'd be my motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, second by Commissioner Kleeman, to support the McKinsey Bay Road project with 60-40% with McKinsey County. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I guess you can
Okay.
take that back to them.
Yep, they'll be pretty excited.
Sounds good. Okay. Southwest Water, revised agreement.
Yeah, Justin Process sent us a revised agreement, and it was essentially the same one he sent before, and they changed a couple super minor things around, so we just need to reapprove that one on our end, I guess. I emailed it out to you guys just this
Yep.
morning, I guess.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it was basically a reword, but I'd make the motion that we approve the agreement, hydraulic improvement agreement with Southwest Water.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Pelton to approve the revised agreement with Southwest Water Authority. Any further discussion? All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Library.
I got an email from the library over there.
Yeah.
You got one too?
Yeah. Yep.
They were just wondering, saying there's a lot of use and the residents of Dunn County have to pay. They were kind of looking to see if we wanted to pay. They said they'd come up and give us a presentation.
Yeah, I think that would be good if they did. I asked Sally to look back in the minutes. This came up, I don't remember what the year was, 16? Yes. And at that time, they wanted a bookmobile to come into Dunn County, and the Killdeer Library had a bookmobile or not, but there was kind of back and forth. And in the end, it was too late in the budget year to put a levy on for the library. I didn't really understand how that ended up, but I think it would be good that they, come and present to us when something that I think we can maybe work with them on.
Because it says there's, 300 residents of the county using it now.
Well, yeah, and when you consider the kind of neurotic in the south end of the county, the Killdeer Library is
Long ways
quite a ways away, so. Okay, I'll get back to them. If I have the email too, unless.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can do that. See when it works out for them to come in. Okay, thanks, Craig. Southwest County Correction Center. So I'm on that board, and we've run into a lot of maintenance issues at that building. Of course, I think it was built about 1980, so 40, 45 years of, it's, I don't know, late 70s maybe. Anyway, there are a couple projects that have to be done. One is the sewer and water issue, pipes leaking, pipe replacement. Last year we did a bunch of replacing the fixtures into toilets and the showers. Water's leaking from the second floor jail down into the sheriff's office. Not good, and they've had to replace sheetrock and carpet and all kinds. It's just, so it's kind of a work in progress. They got phase 1 done, and now phase 2, and the cost of that project is about 800 and some thousand. To Central Mechanical is working with the jail on that. And then the other project that has to be upgraded to meet the standards for jails is the camera upgrade, all the camera system that's outdated. So the today, what I'm bringing forward is that camera upgrade is $222,841.72. And the cost of that is shared between the owner counties. And Dunn County's the second largest outside of Stark County. So
what's our percentage?
I don't know offhand. I should, but I don't know.
I know Stark County's got a big percentage.
Yeah, they have the biggest by far. Our total would be, of that cost, $19,587.79. So roughly $20,000. Stark County's about $160,000. So that's quite a difference. But not asking for the ask isn't for the cost of that funding. We're looking into and are preparing an application for an infrastructure loan through the Bank of North Dakota. And that's 2% interest. And we feel that would be a better route to go. The investments we have right now are at about 4%. So there is some money, that is available for capital projects. But one of the things on the application with the Bank of North Dakota is that we would need to have a county pledge their mill levy dollars, basically like a collateral. And so that on that application for the camera portion, or the $222,000 to get that loan through the Bank of North Dakota, Dunn County would just sign and pledge mill levy dollars. And I asked, we talked to the Bank of North Dakota yesterday. I met with Connie Munson at the jail, and you can't just pledge gross production tax because they, in their mind, that could change. But we can, I don't foresee that this ever being an issue. For one thing, it's shared between all the counties, but one county has to pledge. So Stark County is looking at pledging that for the large water and sewer project, and Dunn County they ask is that they would be willing to put their name in pledge for the security cameras. Because we're by far the two largest entities in the jail. That doesn't mean we're going to do it. The cost of this would be paid back over the time of the loan. And, you know, we don't foresee it being defaulted, but we just need approval from the board to agree to put Dunn County as basically like a sponsor in support of, as backing. So,
I'd move that we go ahead and support that with Dunn County on the backing of the camera portion.
is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Heiser, to authorize Dunn County to pledge mill levy support as collateral on the application for the infrastructure loan.
Oh, that's just gonna come out of our general budget then, or how does that line
No,
item?
no, it wouldn't. There's probably, it wouldn't even come to pass. It's just part of something on the application they asked for.
As long as
Unless-
they're making the payments.
Yeah.
Unless they default, we don't have to pay nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the payments would be just like it always is, it's split between the owner counties. You know, just to give you an idea, Slope County's shares $3,300. Billings is $4,500. Hedinger County, $12,000. You know, I mean, so everybody's going to pay a share of this in the annual payments. But we're money ahead by, you know, spreading it out at 2% interest. So it's there to help things like this.
How long was the term on the loan?
I don't know that yet. Yeah, I don't know. Connie's working on that, but it's several years.
I'm sure the crooks ain't gonna go away.
No. 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 All right. So there's a motion to go ahead and support the application by signing Dunn County's name as pledging mill levy support in the event of default. Just quick, Connie did talk to Scott Wagner. He's kind of the financial thing that with this loan program, and it's something that isn't necessarily necessary, but I think they would overlook this, but Connie wanted to be sure that we had the application complete. So, okay, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dawson?
Yes, the motion carries. Budget.
So I sent you guys an email a couple of weeks ago and then just sent some updated information yesterday. As you know, we are in the budget process now. And part of what I do is kind of take a look at different areas, what we're spending, what kind of manpower we're using. And there was 2 positions in particular that I would like you guys to consider hiring. So we'll go over the first one would be something like an IT coordinator. We've been talking about this position for probably 2 or 3 years. The first thing I'd like to see is it would not take the place of NRG. We'd still need NRG because they have a vast array of employees who are expert at different things like servers, cybersecurity, hooking up, our programs, like our different programs. We have different servers, especially for like Sidwell, the one Holly uses. We have different ones for Tyler. And so NRG does just an array of different things that one person couldn't do. But the budget or the position I'm proposing is an IT coordinator. they would be able to hook up our printers if we're having problems with applications such as Word or Excel. They would be able to help us hook up computers quicker than what NRG can get out here to do. And quite frankly, some of the things that NRG does for us isn't even in their scope or their contract. They just do it for us because. So I sent you guys a job description. And basically, they would be the main point of contact for NRG. They'd monitor the performance of the IT services between us and NRG. They'd ensure the continuity of updates and troubleshooting core systems so that we're not, there's sometimes that something happens to one of our servers and we're down for 2 or 3 hours until we can get NRG either out here from Bismarck or to talk one of us who are not quite so tech savvy through things over the phone. So that's not always the best. It would be very beneficial for us to have someone that can track all of the technology equipment. That right now is on my plate. I do the best that I can, but that's a big job. Trying to, coordinate with different departments, what computers are coming, what ones are going, who has a laptop, who has a desktop, all of that kind of thing to coordinate. Again, in-house technical support, troubleshooting. They could also facilitate user training, like Microsoft Teams. I know we have a lot of people that are not quite as tech savvy, but they could do in-house, so it wouldn't cost us. Microsoft classes on Excel and Word, or basically just how to use a computer. There's a lot of that we can do. There is a program that we are supposed to be doing because now we're .gov, so it's through ITD with the state. It's called Know Before. And so once a year, you get, everybody gets on their computer, something that just pops up, it's a class. And you have to take this class before you can continue to use your computer. Well, none of us have ever done it before. So it'd be nice to have somebody that would facilitate that for current users and new users as well. Let's see. And then also with the cybersecurity, things like that are coming up, AI, it's just a vast amount of technology related things that are not going to go away. IT is never going to go away. Computers are not going to go away. We're just getting to that point at the county that we need somebody that understands it better than your average user. So that's, and I know all of the department heads, we've been talking about it for a long time. It would be great to have someone. The projected cost that I looked up, I've called some other counties who have one. The yearly rough salary would be $85,000. That's in the mid-range. That's not a beginner. It's not somebody that's over the top. It's just a mid-range person. I would like, if I do get permission to go forward, I would like to open this up, both of these positions that I'm going to bring up in-house. And the reason that I ask that we bring them up in-house first is because that is one way for the people that already work at the county to feel like they have room to move and grow in other positions that they don't already. If we didn't get any applications or we didn't get anybody that interviewed that would be right for the positions, then we would go outside and open it up to the public. That is one thing I wanted to bring up.
So that salary would be 85 plus benefits?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, 85 plus benefits.
I think it's probably a needed, I don't know, it seems like there's somebody scamming all the time. I mean, I get these emails that you don't even dare touch them, and I think it's not going to go away. And as technology grows, I think it'd be good to have somebody on board. Like I said, your computer goes on, this goes on. I mean, I think a lot of people can't function without a computer, especially when you're on all day, what do you do?
Yeah.
Can't take notes.
Exactly.
And then, oh, I'm sorry, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, who would this person report to? Which department would it fall under?
So I've talked to Desi and a couple of the other department heads. In the beginning, Dave, it would be under me, and that's only because I hold the budget for them under the general budget. And that would be the only reason, because they don't have a budget of their own. They couldn't be a department head. They would have to fall under someone. And that's just in the beginning, because we all know how positions develop and grow and things like that. So, and I've already got a handle on part of the inventory. And within our software that we purchased, we do have an inventory system. So I could get this person hooked up on that system, then we wouldn't need to purchase anything special. You know, we would already kind of have them.
They kind of keep track of when computers, it's
Yeah.
time to replace and. replace.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, I can attest to when there's problems with servers and having to auditor get a call and go back in the depths of the furnace room and with a flashlight and then they're trying to tell me how to do things and oh my gosh. But I would support. I think it's something that, you know, it's come up for a few years and I think it's time. The other thing that's on the horizon or is here already is AI and I think it would be good to have an on-site person. And then that point of contact with NRG. I mean, I know it gets confusing sometimes, who called or what's going on
and somebody that can speak their language, because that's kind of, I mean, sometimes we don't understand what they're saying and they really don't understand what we need. So I just think it would be a good position. I know budgets are right around the corner. If you guys would approve this, I would like permission to start this year though, because I think right now we need it. We really do.
I guess that's a lot of money, but I guess I don't know what I'm doing on this thing.
Good teacher.
I mean, I was handed this and said, this is the way the world runs. Well, I got it open here, I read some stuff, but I run it from one meeting. No, I won't look at this till next meeting, because my world don't go around this.
Right, so
And I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing on it, so I stay off it as much as I can.
and this person could do things like that, Bob. They could help you. And I know sometimes at the road department, I mean, even for classes that they have, some people don't know how to use a laptop or even a desktop, and that's what we do trainings on now.
So this person could help provide
Provide training, build trainings, computer trainings, just, there's so much that could keep this person busy for a long time.
Computers this day and age and this AI, I don't understand it, but it's pretty scary what it can do.
Yeah. I'll make the motion that we hire an IT coordinator, work under the auditor.
Would you agree to opening the position now? Internally and now and
Yeah, we can open
instead
it
of
now.
waiting. Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Heiser to open the position of the IT coordinator internally and as soon as possible. Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so I have one more position that I emailed you guys about. And as we know, communication specialist 2 years ago was a very new position for us. And I believe I emailed you guys her job description, pages and pages of what she's been working on. and a somewhat job description for a person for her. Currently, and the reason I bring this up, currently Loanne probably works 120 to 130 hours per pay period by herself on the weekends. That does not include the hours that I donate to her from my people in the office. But what's happening there is we're getting behind because I'm giving her hours from my people, but it's things that we can put on the back burner for a little bit, but she needs these things done immediately. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look over that. Just all the things that she's involved with. I emailed it earlier and I put it in the thing, but I think there's probably 150 things, that's not an exaggeration right now, that she's honestly working on. I think a lot of hers too, I know right now we have her down as communications specialist, but really she should be communications and marketing because she is marketing the county and she is working with other cities within the county to develop and grow programs that will benefit everyone. So I'm just suggesting that maybe we change her title to communications and marketing and we get her a communications specialist or a communications admin, something to that effect. Because right now she's having a hard time keeping up with all the things that she has going on. I can't keep giving hours from my department so that we're falling behind.
Yeah.
So, I mean, roughly between what she works overtime and what I donate to her, she's got 40 hours extra a week right there.
That's the thing with that communication. It's a hard thing to judge the value of it, but
It is.
it's a needed thing too, you know. I've gotten feedback from the community where people know what's going on a lot more now than they did a couple of years ago, and that's, I think Loanne's accomplished that. So.
Yeah, she, so for our Facebook, we've had over 100,000 views in the last year. We've reached roughly 13,000 people, had 1,000 content interactions. Let's see, what did she see? I can't remember how many followers. I want to say we had like 1,700 followers on her Facebook page because of what she does. Instagram, over the last 30 days, she's reached 1,400 people and had 5,000 views. Text My Gov, again, that one was huge. What Sarah was just talking about, we've went over our 100,000 texts already.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that we're gonna probably even increase more. The website, she's continually working on the website. That is one thing that we could also take off of her plate and hand over to the IT person, is that website, because that's hard. I mean, she could design it, which would be her part of it, but as far as running the back end, that would help her tremendously. Some of the new things that she's just done for countywide engagement, we have a Dunn County calendar now on the website. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look at that. It's amazing. She's got since she's been here, we've now have our meetings on Facebook, website, YouTube channel, you know, the county coffees that we were going to 2 or 3 times a year to get engagement, going to the smaller communities and talking to people, you know, face to face in a relaxed environment. She's put all that together, and that takes months just to put 5 meetings together. She's assisting with the park board. She's assisting with JDA right now. She's assisting with a program that VSO has going on. Oh, there was a couple more that she had told me about, and I just noticed that all of the work that she's doing and the time that she's putting in for the county, and I know that she puts in free time as well. So it's not just what she's claiming on her time card. I know a lot of the times she doesn't. So
Yeah.
that is another position that I just think that, I think we need it. I don't think at the beginning we knew what it was going to turn into. I don't think that we had any idea how impactful it would be on the county and, you know, our transparency, the light that we have shown to the county and now our engagement and things. I just think that that is also a much needed position, and I also don't think that that one should wait until next year. I have come up with a rough, and these two that I'm giving you, the yearly salaries, those include next year's costs too. So that would be COLA and incentive or a merit raise. So we wouldn't have to include those for this year, but this position would be $65,000 a year roughly. That's where they would fall in that band or pay grade. But I don't know how you guys feel about that. I just, things that I notice when I'm doing the budget and trying to work around different departments.
This person would be an hourly employee. then
Yes,
salary.
they would be an hourly employee, yes.
You know, to be honest, when I run for commissioner, I often wondered what she really did. Now that I've been around here, she's everywhere. I mean, I think she really works hard at it. I look at some of these, you printed off here. I think, like you said, if you got an IT guy, I might be able to take some of the load off. But yeah, if she's doing all these things here, I mean, looks to me like this is a point of burnout. So, I mean,
And what she's doing, she's building our brand. She's promoting the county in a positive way, you know. And this gives her the backroom person to help do the paperwork, and she can still be out and about talking to people.
You know, just speaking from me, even when I get phone calls from residents, they really say, hey, you know, you guys, you're really doing a great job of keeping people informed and updated. And I think a lot of that has to go back to Loanne. She's just doing a fantastic job. And some of the things I know that you guys were asking about her budget that weren't kind of reflecting in the marketing and publishing budget, she was charging things back to the department that she was helping. So we really couldn't see what she was doing or spending. So I've asked her when she does stuff like that to just keep it in her budget so that we can see what we need there, truly need.
and maybe this person too could help, you know, when you're behind, you get tax time, you got election time, this person could maybe help with some of the other departments, you know, hey, they need help, maybe this person could be a kind of a helping hand for more than just one department too, you know, if the person is there. So.
I've only got one problem with it. Excuse me. Luann's not gonna slow down. No, she's not. I said that when we hired her. I've known her all my life and she's 9-0. She's not gonna, I mean, we could hire 2 people and she's still gonna, I mean, I don't know what to do about that. Get her to slow down.
I'd make the motion that we hire an administrative communication specialist. Yeah, effective or advertise as soon as possible.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Heiser to go forward with hiring an administrative assistant for the communications specialist. Any further discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That information, Kelly? Okay. West Dunn Fire Station is going to have their open house on June 26th. I got an email from Ryan Hauk, and it's at 6 o'clock, so we're all invited. It's out on Facebook too for the public. But he had said that whoever from the commission would like to speak, say a few words, you're welcome to. There's going to be a short program. I will not be here next week, so.
I won't either, so I nominate Dave to do it.
I might go, but I ain't speaking.
Okay.
I think it would be fitting for Craig. He's on the fire department. I think it'd be good. He's been through this whole thing of building to building.
Yep.
He'd be a good guy to speak on behalf of the county, so that.
And I'd recommend you guys go and see that building. It
Yep.
is amazing
Yeah, I was gonna
building.
try and go.
I heard it's pretty amazing.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I
Oh.
went to a meeting
Oh,
today, and
okay,
it was
awesome.
so neat. Just amazing.
Right, so I just wanted to make that note. And speaking of not being here, I won't be here at the July 2nd meeting. I'm having a eye procedure, so Craig, you'll have to, I think I can, I think it's going to work out that I can be online, but it might be difficult to run the meeting from the car on the way home. So, but I plan on.
Pull over if you tried.
Yeah. Bob won't. We're getting home. That's how he drives. We're not stopping. So, something I meant to bring up at the beginning of the meeting. I think you all got an email from Mike Davenport about wanting to burn down an old structure on the farm so they can build their home or bring in a new home. Did you see that email?
I've got that, but Gary, where's that located at? 37 East Street. 37th Street East.
Oh, that must be where he lives now.
Oh, this is somewhere, okay,
Yeah, this is the McConnell place.
okay.
The old McConnell place. And, so now,
Be down on 101.
Okay.
but they want to go ahead and start cleaning up so they can get a house built in the plans. So in his letter to the commission and to Ryan, he had asked basically for permission to be able to burn that and bury it. So it's not necessarily a pit. And I don't know if that would be just up to Ryan to, authorize that. Does that fall under burning a pit? Not necessarily, because it's going to be covered up.
I had 2 calls after the last meeting when we did not take the burn ban down. We're pretty upset about they couldn't burn a pit, so I'm just.
I mean, I think that's a little different than a pit. It's,
Mhm.
a pit is
Just-
left open and
Yeah.
And that was the whole reason that if it's left open and the wind comes up, where this would be burned and covered up with dirt. So,
I mean, I think it's something, I don't know if we want to leave all that responsibility on Ryan's shoulders. I think maybe it's something that we have to address.
do we want to, I mean, it would be a matter of,
exception.
authorizing that situation. He did state in his letter having, water tanks available and they have a well right there, to watch it. But, so I guess the question would be, do we authorize this situation? Or do we want to lift the burn ban completely at this time?
Pretty green out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
I mean, it could be
2
for,
months, it might be pretty dry.
but it could be for 2 weeks too. We could put it back on in 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, but the pits would be burning already.
I guess this lifting and putting on the burn ban, I don't like that. I like to have it so that we stay, can't think of the word now,
Consistent.
consistent. If you're gonna burn something, you call the fire chief and stuff. It's not that all of a sudden we got a fire going, you got 15 telephone calls calling, there's a fire. I just, if the fire chief don't know about it or safety people don't know about it, then yeah, we got a fire, we send trucks out. But they can always say, yes, we okay to burn. And I think that's the way it should stay.
And if there's something like this, guys, something special, I mean, they can come to us and ask us.
Case by case.
Yeah.
And I guess I'd move that we'd let him burn as long as it's monitored and buried within a week.
Is that a motion then?
Yes.
Yeah, motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Olson to authorize, in this instance, the authority to burn the structure and bury it within a week. Is that right? Okay. Any further discussion?
I think that's, the burying within a week is the key thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not going to be open, it's going to be buried, so.
Not gonna have wind coming up in a month and
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes, motion carries. I'll let Mike know. I've got his contacts.
And I
You
think
probably all got calls.
I didn't, but Ryan said he didn't want to be liable for to be the one to say yes
Yeah.
or no. So I think anything like this should come to the commission to be asked on.
Yeah,
don't
and it's
wanna
our
put him in
authority.
Yeah, we don't want to put him in that position.
Okay. Vouchers. Oh. Oh,
Did you have something?
oh, okay.
You're just sitting here all day?
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
Absorbing knowledge.
You lose your job?
PR in today. You know, Craig, under the weeds, I know we approved to pick up that one meeting. Did they get it yet?
Yes.
They did, okay.
well, it only took a week.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious. Lone Star prisoner transport, was that just a bunch or was it from a long ways away?
Long ways away.
Okay. At least you got him.
What's that?
At least you got him.
Yeah.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve the bills as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Kleeman to approve the list of bills as presented. Any discussion? If not, roll call?
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes. I'm still here.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes, motion carries. Or any reports from any portfolio holders?
Killdeer's fly-in lunch is this weekend on Saturday.
That's right. Yeah.
You
So-
flying in?
Fun event.
Yeah, they asked me to fly some kids around, so I'm gonna fly in and fly some kids around a little bit.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Are you safe?
Should be.
Okay.
Just passed my DOT or my physical the other day, so we're good. Yeah, let's go.
It's a fun event, so
Yeah, it was a good one. I went last
I
year. I was
can't
able
be
to
there
fly.
this year either. I'm going again.
I think the firemen are cooking burgers and brats.
That was a fun time last year.
Hey,
I need a motion to.
Yep.
adjourn? So moved.
okay. Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Kleeman,
Second.
second by Commissioner Olson. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. 11:39. Thank you, everyone.